Vitamin D and coronavirus infection. A person with a good levels of vitamin D has lesser infections, especially respiratory infections. There are a lot of studies have proven the beneficial effect of vitamin D in preventing influenza viral infections. Now, looking at the modalities available to treat coronavirus infection today, let us examine vitamin D, especially vitamin D3. Vitamin D is not only a pro-hormone but a fantastic protector of our immune system. Past 1 decade, thousands of studies have been published with respect to role of vitamin D in human health. Vitamin D, savior of human health, panacea of life. Today we need to revise the role of vitamin D in this pandemic situation. Let me recollect. We produce 80% of vitamin D in our skin when we are exposed to bright sunlight, especially when our skin is exposed to ultraviolet B rays. If we care about our diet with vitamin-rich foods, if we care about diet with vitamin D-rich foods, and of course, the healthy organs and good gastrointestinal tract absorption are essential to get all these vitamins into your body. Vitamin D2 from diet, D3 from sunlight, liver plays a major role, and later everything is converted into calcitriol, that is the most active form of vitamin D. Till now we studied vitamin D for its role in musculoskeletal system. Many more studies have shown that vitamin D has an extended role. Past 1 decade, there is an epidemic of modern civilization, that is either vitamin D insufficiency or vitamin D deficiency. Almost all countries have experienced this vitamin deficiency. Let me recapitulate once again. The causes for vitamin D deficiency or insufficiency: inadequate sun exposure. We are trying to save our skin by applying lot of sunscreens, especially with SPF more than 8. And the darker skin people, pigmented skin, aged population, winter season, northern latitudes above 40 degrees experience vitamin D deficiency. People are shifting their food habits, not having their staple food, and a lot of misconceptions about food, and bowel disease such as Crohn's disease, celiac disease, and many subclinical malabsorption syndromes which may not come up to doctor's table. All these cause vitamin D insufficiency and deficiency along with other micronutrients. We had good habits of consuming cod liver oil, deliberate exposure to sun, all we have forgotten with modern civilization. In addition to that, we have added statins, low cholesterol food, high PUFA oils, infections, frequent medication, chronic diseases. Overall, large number of population are suffering from vitamin D insufficiency or deficiency. Vitamin D, with its role on musculoskeletal system, we need to look beyond. Newer evidence suggests vitamin D has a major role in modulating immune system and also immune responses to various infections, including viral infection. The question: could vitamin D play a role in coronavirus resistance? Research thinks so. Vitamin D supplements may aid in the resistance of respiratory infections such as the coronavirus, or they limit the severity of illness in those infected. This is where the researchers are thinking on. How can vitamin D modulate our immunity, or how can vitamin D have antiviral effects. Let us examine the mechanism of actions. Vitamin D has a major role, and if you understand the molecular mechanisms and immune modulation of vitamin D, let us revise ourselves. The positive effects begin when vitamin D is binding to vitamin D receptors. Vitamin D receptors are there in most of the organs, most of the tissues in the body. If people are vitamin D insufficient or deficient, there is an hypothesis that vitamin D receptor sites also get damaged. These vitamin D receptor sites or receptors themselves, they may rise with an isoform of retinoid X receptors. Imagine vitamin D receptors and retinoid X receptors, these heterodimers can add with vitamin D response elements on target genes. That means they can interfere in target genetic areas. Secondly, vitamin D expected to polarize the adaptive immune system, especially from Th1 towards Th2 responses. Vitamin D suppresses the Th1 cell proliferation production of interferon gamma and interleukin 2. You all know about them. And lower levels of circulating cytokines make or reduce the antigen presentation by dendritic cells. In addition to less T lymphocytes recruitment and proliferation. That means expression of Th2 associated cytokines, interleukin 4 will be increased by vitamin D. So vitamin D can easily polarize the immune system from Th1 towards more better Th2 responses. How does it happen? These can happen through vitamin D induced peptides. There are two major vitamin D peptides. Firstly, let us discuss about beta defensin 2. Human beta defensin 2. These are actually upgraded by vitamin D and they contribute to antiviral effects such as chemoattractant for neutrophils and monocytes. That's a major role. Monocytes are also activated by vitamin D with other similar substances and they enhance induction of positive gene expression. So beta defensin plays a major role in having a positive gene expression. The second important peptide is human cathelicidin, or also popularly known as LL37. This is a peptide induced by TLR1 or 2 activation. Cathelicidin is strongly upregulated by vitamin D due to its VDR response element. Vitamin D can really influence cathelicidin. Expression of CYP27B1 in macrophages and keratinocytes together induce cathelicidin expression. If there is no vitamin D, if there are no sufficient number of VDRs or CYP27B1 presence, the production of cathelicidin is significantly impaired. This is what happens in a severely vitamin D deficient people. These both vitamin D peptides can go down and they have a major role in immune modification. Now let us examine few studies which show some positive light that vitamin D has a good role in viral respiratory infection. Vitamin D can induce antimicrobial peptides which we discussed. They themselves have antiviral effects. Direct incubation of LL37 with HSV1 showed a significant dose-dependent reduction of hepatitis virus titer. There is some significant effect. Normally, most of the patients have higher risk of death from respiratory infections, especially patients with cancers, cardiovascular disease, chronic respiratory tract infections, diabetes, hypertension, hypothyroidism, and other chronic infections. It is found people who have higher vitamin D concentrations have reduced risk of respiratory infection. Killing enveloped viruses through induction of these peptides, especially cathelicidin and defensins. Actually, these peptides can reduce pro-inflammatory cytokines, and they also reduce the risk of cytokine storm leading to pneumonia, which is a major cause of death in COVID-19 today. A very big National Health and Nutrition Examination survey revealed people with less than 30 nanograms of vitamin D in their blood, they have increased risk of upper respiratory tract infection. And there is one big community field trial which revealed above 50 nanograms of vitamin D concentrations in their blood positively associated with reduction of 27% in influenza-like illnesses. That's a great news. There is some amount of consensus of opinion that vitamin D deficiency can increase the risk of influenza and respiratory tract infection, especially in people with HIV and other chronic infections. Cell culture experiments support vitamin D has major antiviral effects against enveloped viruses. Although not fully established, vitamin D's ability to upregulate the antimicrobial peptides cathelicidin, beta-defensin 2 both can save us from these serious viral infections and with their serious organ involvement, especially pneumonia. Some studies revealed vitamin D influence on enveloped viruses. Gambian tuberculosis patients identified a silent T to C based change in polymorphism in codon 352 of the VDRs. So that means that was significantly correlated with the lower rates of persistent hepatitis B infection with tuberculosis. But the same thing was not observed in malaria. So vitamin D receptors, if you have in healthy numbers, there is a lot of help fighting against envelope viruses. And a very good study by Pitta et al. Revealed an association between lower vitamin D levels and failure to clear the virus load in hepatitis C patients. So these some selective studies clearly demonstrate that vitamin D have some influence on envelope viruses. Now we need to look back. Insufficiency is an indication that people will ultimately become deficient. We need to be much above the optimal levels. Currently we are showing in our laboratory values as 30 and above is enough, but not enough. If we need to fight out viral toxemias, a current pandemic situation of COVID, we need to maintain our vitamin D more than 60 nanograms throughout the year. There are some recommendations. Higher vitamin D3 doses are useful in COVID-19 patients. US recommends 10,000 units of vitamin D every day for a couple of weeks, followed by 5,000 international units every day, likely to reduce the risk of pneumonia in cases of influenza, or maybe we can extend to COVID-19. For infected, we need to maintain higher doses. One must make it a point, everyone should have more than 40 nanograms of vitamin D in our blood to fight out these viral pneumonias. There are certain practices in our society. The medical fraternity, the moment we recognize vitamin D deficiency, we give a couple of shots, 6 lakh units or more, and then we think vitamin D deficiency is going to vanish. No, it's not going to happen. We need to handle vitamin D deficiency in a long-term basis. Seasons play a role, their habits play a role, their eating habits play a role, or there are so many factors which are going to influence your vitamin D status. In my own study of 10,000 people, more than 90% of people remain insufficient in vitamin D, and more than 60% of people may go into severe deficiency. So to maintain adequate serum levels of vitamin D, you need a long-term supplementation program. At least I recommend oral supplementation because we should help the gut to absorb. Ultimately, the gut has to absorb the vitamin D. So my dear colleagues, do not forget vitamin D as one of the adjuvant treatments for this pandemic COVID, especially people who are very deficient. People who are on supplementation program who have stopped, do not take on your own, take your doctor's help. Raise your vitamin D supplementation on a low dose, long-term program is better.